Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Hi, friends. Are you ready for some expert coaching to help you move abroad ASAP? Stephanie Perry and I just launched a new coaching program for the Women of Exodus Summit, and we coached for the very first time this week together on move abroad topics. We've coached before on other topics like how to get clients for your job, whatever. But this is our first time coaching on move abroad stuff, and we loved it.
Yeah.
We loved it. We love doing it together. So we wanted to do it again together for you guys now. Here. We want to do it again. Boom, 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 boom.
So
if you don't know.
If you want to leave the country, stay here. Stay tuned. Ask your questions.
Yes. Our my guest today is named Stephanie.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Perry, friends. I'm so excited to be here. Rashida, we're together.
Together. It's been a long time.
No, I'm so excited. My name is Stephanie Perry. I'm a house sitter. I just finished a house sit in Temecula, California. I am a full-time nomad. I have not lived in the United States since September of 2015. And, I like to do the easiest thing. I like to do as little as possible. So, in the coaching today, you're not going to get advice on how to struggle, how to do the things the hardest way. You're going to get some shortcuts. You're going to get some ease. You're going to get, and with a heavy emphasis on doing what you want, a whole heavy emphasis on joy. Rashida's going to focus on the joy. I'm going to focus on the ease. Together, we're going to get you out of the country. Ask your questions. Let's get some coaching.
Okay. So if you want to be live on camera, DM me on Instagram. I'm going to drop my little link there. Not on Facebook, y'all. I can only check one thing at a time. Please. If you're not on Instagram, I don't know what to tell you. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I can barely check one thing at a time. But I'm going to drop my Insta. Here's the thingy. Here it is. If you've already messaged me on another location, I saw H&D Abroad and Aileen have messaged me. Go back. I responded to you. Go back.
Yeah, because seriously, you can let me put my light down. I'm holding my light so I look super cute because Rashida's hair is so beautiful. Let me get the light on me. Now
stay ready. Stephanie stays ready.
Okay, Rashida got the hair popping. The red is out, right? Beautiful.
Redheads might actually have more fun. I don't know.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, so I just needed to make sure I look cute in the intro for the people.
You look very cute in the intro. Very, very cute.
Yeah.
I am going to be you.
Yeah, so Rashida means it when she says you can come on camera. If you want to ask a question on camera, follow the instructions that Rashida just gave, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to do that, still ask some questions in the chat. Rashida Dow's channel. Welcome to Rashida Dow's YouTube channel. Rashida Dow is a resident of Mexico City. Rashida is a career break and move abroad and leave that whatever behind. Leave that fill in the blank behind coach. For 5 years, Rashida has co-hosted Exodus Summit, the premier online event for Black women who want to leave the country, whether it's long-term, forever, short-term, medium-term, some undefined amount of time. It's been 5 years. We have been coaching for 5 years on this thing. Exodus ASAP is the first time that we've coached outside of the summit together on this thing, outside of the summit.
Mm-hmm.
But we have been getting Black women out of the country since 2020. And because life is better, right? We like ourselves and our lives out of the country. We like the lifestyle, right? We like the pace of life outside of the United States. We also like the lack of pressures to be Ms. Black Excellence 2024, the lack of pressures to be Ms. Save the World. When you leave the United States, you can leave behind, if you do some healing work, you can leave behind all of those things that were killing you, all of those things that were dragging you down. And you can go to a new country and be you, meet yourself and be yourself and live your life with joy and with ease, with community, with connection, all of the things that we don't have in the United States. So that's why Exodus ASAP exists. That's why Exodus Summit exists. That's why Rashida and I do this work together. That's why Rashida and I do this work separately. So come on, get some coaching.
Yes, please let us know if you're ready to join us.
Yeah.
Aileen, I see you. I know you're here. I sent you a comment on the YouTube in the chat. Get over there. See it.
On the Instagram DM?
No, on the YouTube. On the YouTube's her and D. And they're both acting like they say something and I say something back to them and I don't.
On the YouTube? Maybe you're not, do they
In
know
our
where?
community.
Oh, okay.
In the
Okay.
community. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Also, backing it up a second because you guys are going to be mad if we don't mention it. Today we are hosting Janita Lawal, who created a school in Merida, this evening at
8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 Pacific.
And we're hosting her to help parents who are moving abroad, who want to figure out a good schooling situation for their child.
Yeah.
We're helping them. She's going to talk about how to get what schools are right, like how to figure out what the right school for your child is, how to get them in the right school. If it's homeschool, what are some resources that you need to know about, etc. This happens at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Zoom. If you already have your all access pass to Exodus Summit, that link is in your email. It says Zoom link inside.
That's right.
Boom, bam.
So if you have a child, if you want to leave the country and you have a child who is still school age and you have no idea how that's going to work, or right now you're thinking, well, I got to wait until they graduate, I would get your all access pass to Exodus Summit 2024 and come to this workshop. The all access pass is going to be, the whole all access pass is worth it if this is a struggle that you have, because Janita is going to help you work through that in this workshop. It's a workshop. It's not it's a workshop. She's working you through what is the right strategy for your child based on what your kid's into, based on what your kid's future plan is, depending on how old your kid is, and what options can you put together. You don't have to take the preset route to educating your kid, to schooling your kid. And so Janita's going to work you through working out your individual plan for your kid. So I would get an all access pass to Exodus Summit 2024 at exodussummit.com if this is a struggle that I had, right? Get the all access pass, come to today's workshop. You'll also get the replays of Exodus Summit 2024 through September of 2025. You'll also get the replay of the remote jobs workshop with Libria Jones and Adelia's money math workshop. But if this is a concern that you have, this session is worth the full price of entry. Because you're going to be able to get a plan together to school your kid. You're not going to have to wait until graduation. Okay. You don't have to do that. Just like you can enjoy a peace of mind and a better lifestyle out of the country, so can your kids. It doesn't have to be homeschooling, right? If the idea of homeschooling your kid seems not fun, right? It doesn't have to be that. She's going to work with you on your plan for you and your child. Okay.
All right. I'm going to address some questions that we don't have people live for, but I still want to address. This one I think is going to be short because I don't know that we have the answer, but I have a question.
Okay.
And I think the community can help with this because some of y'all know a lot of stuff that we don't know, which is one of the great things about Exodus ASAP. There's like us doing stuff, but there's also people sharing information that they have with the community in our peer-to-peer events, which we may talk about more later. Anyhow, JM2307, if you're watching this right now, this is JM's question. If you're here, hey. The question is, I want to withdraw from my IRA to buy my first home, ideally outside the US. I've weighed my options, and this seems like the best choice for me since the 10% penalty can be waived for first-time homebuyers. What are your thoughts? I've been unemployed for a while and haven't had luck finding a new job yet. My savings are running low. I'm setting up my business, but feeling unsettled without stable housing, and it's taking a toll on my productivity. I think my first thought, I don't have the answer to this, but I think our community might, is, does that first-time home buyer exemption work if you're buying a house outside of the US?
Right.
I don't know that, but my first thought, knowing the US government and our tax laws, would be no.
Why would it, right?
My first thought is no, but if someone in the comments knows, would be interested in seeing that, a response to that.
Also, like buying a home in another country, without saying specifically which country, buying a home in another country might not even be a thing, right? It might not even be how they operate in those places. If you are, some places, foreigners, even if you have residency, some places foreigners cannot buy. And in other places, you can buy a home, but you're never going to be able to sell it.
Mexico City.
Yeah, they just don't do that.
Yeah, I think that I also want to touch on your concern about stable housing, right? Stable housing is a concern, but buying a house may not be the best or only way to get you into stable housing. I don't know what your current housing situation is, but like Stephanie said, in a lot of countries, it's very rare for people to buy a house, right? And so housing is stable whether you own it or not. I know for a lot of people, owning a home. A lot of Americans, a lot of Black Americans specifically, because it was denied to us for so long, owning a house is important in ways that can't really be seen on paper. Like, right? Like when you just do the math, like the import of that isn't really in the equation, but it can be very important. And I don't want to devalue that, but I also don't want you to pay a penalty, right? If you don't get that waived for the desire to own a home, right? There are a lot of us thriving without owning a home. Stephanie don't even have a stable place to live. What are we talking about, right? And look, she's glowing. She's glowing. Yolanda in our community gave up her apartment and house sat, I think, for a year and a half before moving to Spain. She didn't have stable housing, but she also didn't pay more than $500 a month in hotels in between the time she was house sitting, right? There are ways to address the housing issue without
buying a
house. And there's what I sense from your message, and I could be wrong, is that you may be moving from a place of scarcity or fear, and that's not always the best place to make a decision.
That's right.
So going back to your question again, I understand not having a job, savings running low. I have been there. With money, I want to say this to everyone, there is no wrong answer, right? Like the thing that makes the most financial sense on paper may not be the right decision for you, because how you feel emotionally about the decision may overweigh that. And I want you to feel okay making a decision that doesn't make sense to other people, right? No one else has to live your life.
Yeah.
If you want to move abroad, if you want to do things, you're going to make decisions that don't make a lot of sense to other people. And you have to get okay with that. Mm-hmm. So if you hear me say, I don't think it's the best idea, and you want to do it anyway, I think that's good, right? You've made a decision. It feels good to you. Do it. But I think your first step is to look into whether that 10% penalty is waived if you buy a house outside the US. Because
yeah.
I don't know, girl. I don't know. Um, okay, Lynn is here. Hi. We're adding Lynn to the stage.
Oh, here.
Here. Lynn is here. See who's here. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, how are you?
Amazing. How are you?
Good. I'm glad I was able to see the link to be able to get in because this has been a topic for me, considering this for the past, 2 weeks. And someone passed along Stephanie's name, and I've been just amazed at how much information's on YouTube and Facebook. And I'm like, I'm going to make this meeting today. So thanks for having this at this time.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
my question was, I have several, but one of the questions that I posted in the group is, I own a 3-bedroom home, and currently I retired early, was able to be able to bring my parents into my home to take care of them. And so dad's passed away, mom is on home hospice, and so I'm looking at that next step. And I've always traveled. I've always just got up and traveled. And so I haven't been able to do that in the last couple of years. And I thought, hey, why would I consider, after everything's done and said, why would I consider staying here? So I want to be able to get up and go. So that's why I'm following you all now. But then I thought, look around. I got a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't want to take that stuff with me. What are some of the best practices of, did you sell? Did you ship stuff to yourself? Did you have a flea market going on? What happened? How did you get rid of your stuff?
Where do you want to go? Do you know?
I haven't gone that far yet. I've always said that I would end up in the Caribbean, and I would teach students. I'll be a teacher like 3 days of the week, and the other 2 days of the week I'll probably go out and sell, fruit on the street. That was my whole joke. But hey, I'm not too far from that. So
Yeah.
it may be someplace in the Caribbean, but I haven't gotten that far yet to determine where. So I just want to get started getting rid of stuff.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are two things. So navigating the house and the stuff are two different things. No matter
Okay.
what you decide about the house, almost regardless of what you decide about the house, the stuff you're going to get rid of the stuff.
Okay.
Very few people want to ship a house worth
Yeah.
of stuff to their new life.
Mm-mm.
It's not what you want. It's not what you want.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So getting rid of the stuff is going to happen regardless of whether you decide to sell your home, to rent out your home, to put it on a like Airbnb platform or
Yep.
mid-term rental platform.
Okay.
Getting rid of the stuff is a thing that you should start now. Start downsizing, start getting rid of anything that you can part with without any feelings. Start there. Start with the easiest stuff to get rid of, because you're not going to take it to your new life, whether you go to the Caribbean or Bangkok. That's going to go. That everyone starts with getting rid of everyone starts with the stuff.
So how did you get rid of it? Did you sell it? Did you just give it away? What did you all do?
So that's a question. It's a great question for this channel because I had stuff. When I took my career break, I put everything I had in storage because I knew I was coming back to my old life. I wanted these things. These were things I loved. I had some like really nice art that's like 50 years old, like stuff that I wasn't going to get rid of. And so I had my storage and I was like, I'm gonna come back in a year. And I didn't come back and look inside that storage unit for 5 years. And then when I looked inside that storage unit, I had 2 years to get rid of everything. 2 weeks to get rid of everything because I didn't live in the country anymore. I had 2 weeks to deal with it and then get rid of stuff. And I will tell you that if I had to choose between setting my house on fire and walking away, making sure no animals or people got hurt, a little friendly arson. This is not advice, but a little friendly arson versus that 2 weeks of going through everything I own to figure out what I could take back in suitcases now, right? Because I'm not renting a moving truck because I already live here. What I was going to take back in suitcases and what I could get rid of, every time I'm lighting a match, every time. Where's the gasoline? It's people underestimate how incredibly hard it can be to get rid of things, even when you take away the emotional attachment, even when you're ready to get rid of it, when you're like, I don't need this couch anymore.
Yeah.
All the places where you would normally drop off a couch were like, oh, you don't see everybody lost their houses? We just full of furniture. We're full of furniture. We don't want your couch. IKEA, girl, get out of here. And like putting it on the curb, no one to like all the things you would think normally happen for stuff. Oh, it's easy to get rid of things. It wasn't. It wasn't. So mine was a combination of, I have a video of this on my channel, I think. Adelia and I talking about this because Adelia helped me with this. But it took two people. Clothes went to a place that gave things to people who were unhoused and housed people who just needed stuff. So all of like anything I couldn't sell as far as like kitchenware or clothing went there. I gave away things to friends. I took stuff to the dump. That last day I had them people 1-800-JUNK come get stuff. And it was a ripoff of all ripoffs of all ripoffs. So the point necessarily isn't how to do it, because you can figure out how to do it. Adelia has a ton of great resources. I don't know if she's already made a video about this, because she was like, oh, bras. There's a group that accepts bras and does something. And I was like, why do you know these things? She does. She knows things nobody else knows. It's great. But the point is to start now, because you can't do it in a month. You can't do it. 2 months is even cutting it short. So I think that like I sold even my signed by author books. I had to like drop off at half price books and get like a penny per book or something for them. Just because I was doing it so quickly. So I would say that starting now, looking at resources, thinking about what you have and what you want to get rid of, and then maybe Googling locally, what are some resources that take these things, or, where you can donate them, is probably the best way to start.
But it's going to be all of the things that you mentioned. Some things you're going to donate, some things you're going to sell, some things you're going to ditch, right? Like trash. Some things you're going to give to people who would put them to good use. The things that the struggle is often the things that you care about. And so Rashida and Adelia's advice is always, if you died, who would you want this to go to? Just give it to them now, right? But it's all of the above. The answer is all of the above. I used to fill up my car with stuff and take it to work and be like, who wants a lamp? Who wants a 10-speed? I had a bike. Who wants a bike? Who wants a, right? Somebody at work would take a lot of the good stuff. So all of the above is the answer. I know that's,
No, that helps a lot. And thank you. And for you to say, start now, that really drove it home for me. So yeah, you're right. I can't wait to the last minute and then freak out. But, things like, why do I have an extra, tape here? I have a whole drawer of tape. Right. Let me get rid of that now. So that makes me feel like I'm moving forward. So thank you. I appreciate that feedback.
You're welcome. We can't wait to come visit you in the Caribbean. It's funny, those things that we make up, those little fantasies that we make up, there's a kernel of truth in there, right? What our dream is in there. My nephew used to be like, I want to live on the beach and sell seashells and suitcases to tourists, right? Like there's something in there that you're into. If you want to be in the Caribbean and teach a couple days a week, that can be your life. That dream can be your life.
Sounds good. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate that.
Nice to meet you, Lynn.
Lynn. And we hope to see you in the membership, in the Facebook group, around the internet, and all the places.
Oh, you will. You'll see me. I'm on it.
Perfect.
Make sure I sign up for everything that you two are promoting. So thank you so much for having this today.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Lynn said, let's go. So the 1-800-JUNK, Rashida, can you give us a sentence about 1-800-JUNK being a ripoff?
Oh, yes, I saw that. Oh, first I wanted to drop Adelia's link for her channel. Allegedly. I called 1-800-JUNK and they were like, how much stuff you got? I described it and they were like, it'll be this price. And they came back and they were like, it's like 4 times the price. And I was like, first of all, their truck was supposed to be there at like 5. No truck there. At like 8 o'clock, 3 trucks showed up. And they were like, you here too, you here? All outside the house at the same time.
Okay.
I don't understand what's going on, but cool, whatever. They wanted like 4 times the price. And it was so late when they came that I couldn't do anything, right? Like Sure. Whatever it costs, like I'm leaving on a flight the next morning, whatever, just take it. So we negotiated it down a bit, but it was still much higher than they said. And then they sell your stuff, right? Like I got to pay you to take it to go sell it. And I got to pay you way, way, way over the quoted rate for you to go sell it. So that was my experience.
I saw a lady did a video and she said that they came and got her stuff. No, it was on the news. They came and got her stuff and then just ditched it, not in the dump, just on the side of the road. And of course, some of the stuff still had her name and address. There was
No.
so she's the one who was fined
Good.
and
Probably
penalized for them just dropping her stuff on the side of the road somewhere. So
Child,
proceed.
Miss Fran living single said the same thing. 100 drunk did that to me too. Very overpriced. Yeah, I was like, what are these numbers?
Yeah.
But yeah, start now is the answer.
Mhm.
Start now, because those things you think of course someone's gonna want this.
It's harder than you
But
think.
the buy nothing groups are nice when the people actually show up. But we were having a hard time getting people. People would be like, yes, say I want this, and then not show up.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, same thing here too. Parasonic says same thing happened to me. Quoted me one price when they arrived. It was 10x the price. I said no, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why you don't want to be pressed for time and dealing with this.
Yes,
Right.
I was pressed for time. I was like, just take it.
Yeah.
Um,
But so there aren't too many don't do thises. There aren't, Rashida already said, there aren't things where we're going to be like, don't do it, but don't put your stuff in storage. It's pretty much the, don't put
and
your
you
stuff.
got to don't unless you're desperate. Don't call 1-800 junk.
Mhm.
Because we did the math and we were like, it would be cheaper for them to take it than us to drive it into the dump. Like we figured out what the math was based on their quote.
Okay.
But when they came, the dump was already closed. So we didn't have another, like it would have been cheaper for us to take the stuff to the dump, but we didn't have that option anymore because they came so late at night and we had to leave. It was like pressing.
Yeah.
Trickery.
Yeah.
Trickery. Dr. Keisha Ducre, I'm probably getting that wrong. Apologies. Has some other tips, other outlets for donations, refugee resettlement agencies, furniture, appliances, and LGBTQ youth centers, clothing, and beauty products. Excellent ideas.
Good.
I tried to drop off some stuff at a consignment store that supported an LGBTQ centers in the area, and they were like, "We're full. We are full. Get away from us." Oh. I drove across town I'm sorry, not across town, multiple towns away. I drove multiple towns away to bring you this stuff. And they were like, no. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, if you have time for Poshmark, consignment stores, people are mentioning in the comments some great ideas. If you have the time, start now, do it.
Mhm.
All right. Next up, we have a fave. Yes, girl. They're here.
I can't see.
I know you can't see. Who is it? Stephanie has no idea what's happening next. You guys don't either. But we have a fave who has been so instrumental. Look at Stephanie's face. She's so confused. Has been so instrumental for so many of us in this journey because she's such a kind, giving person. She was just in our group this week, sharing her wisdom in our community, sharing her wisdom and experience, and talking to the Women in the Exodus ASAP membership. She hosted our first peer-to-peer session talking about how to date a country. So, yay. I am so happy that one of our community coaches is here for coaching.
When Rashida said fave, I was like, well, everybody's our fave, but she was fave. She was Hi, Dee.
Y'all are hilarious. Good morning. I'm in the car, but I was at the grocery store and I pulled over so that I could have this conversation because I had a real question that I realized I'm not going to allow fear. Stephanie y'all have liberated me from fear, but it's a real I just feel like I need a little bit more guidance because I've never fully allowed my entrepreneurial pursuits to be considered as part of my income. it's always been bonus money or whatever. But I'm like, no, this is how I want to support myself, because I want to own more of my time freedom, and I see a lot of what's happening in HR, and I don't want to leave it up to my employer to tell me if I can pay my bills. This is the time, and more than just the move abroad, this is the time that more of us need to be owning this process. But that feast and famine cycle, woo, I really, I want to be ready for it. We've built our plan. Um, we're going to be house sitting and doing some other low cost things that allow us time. So we've probably built about 1 to 3 years of a buffer to kind of get the business up and running so that it can support more and more of our lifestyle. But like, it's a mindset shift. Rashida, I just watched you talk to Sandra, who talked about getting used to getting out of the mindset of I'm a saver to in retirement being a spender. And that touched in me the same fear. Like, a job has been the security. Now I need to shift. How can I get ready for more than just the logistics? I know to say, in the feast years, hold a little bit back. I know the budgeting, but like, how do you get your mind wrapped around this is how I earn my income, and not to panic when it doesn't, when you have that famine time frame?
It's you, with experience, right? With time, you understand that you have more control over when you make money. So I would push back on the feast or famine and say, instead, there are levers that business owners pull to make money, right? When you need some extra clients, or you need some extra sales, you need some extra money, you pull a lever. That lever is making content on your own platform. That lever is going out and talking on other people's platforms. That lever is getting good PR. That lever is creating something for the people who've already bought from you, something next level for them, right? There are levers that you pull that bring money in when you have a business and when you have paying clients, that make you feel more secure than my job. I can walk into my job any day and they can be like, oh, we don't have this apartment anymore. Bye. Right. So setting up understanding that your business is now, since your business is now your support, right? Your business is now your income generator and not just your mad money, right? It's your income generator. You make sure that you have set up each one of those things so that when it's time to pull the lever, you can pull the lever. So you make relationships with people, you talk on their channels, and some of their subscribers become your clients. That's the lever that people pull over and over and over. Right. The lever of so anyway, so the answer is set up your business so that when you need sales, you have a lever to pull to get sales.
Okay.
Right? Make sure that you're not scrambling at the last minute, but okay, for some reason, either income is down or expenses are up, which I love, right? Expenses are up. I'm going on a cruise. Okay. Now here's the thing. Here's how the lever that I'm going to pull this time is I'm going to create something for all of my alumni. I'm going to create something so that we can go do something on the next level. Okay. Right? Or I'm going to create levers. Instead of feast or famine, understand that you do when you're a business owner, especially when you're a business owner with a platform, right? Y'all talk your talk on the internet. When you're a business owner with a platform, there are levers that you pull to make money that are more comforting than a job. Was that helpful?
That's logistics. I took the next 3 clients challenge. Right. So you are reinforcing what both of you all have coached us on. So where's the psychology of this process? Because I mean, when I say fear, it's really making me say, okay, maybe even if I had a job that I could leave with, will I ever let go of the death grip because of the emotional attachment that I have to, quote unquote, I can expect a certain amount of money to drop as a salaried employee for over 30 years. Like, that's something you really have to, I feel like I'm having to spend some time on, because it's just not been my center before.
Let's back up for a second. When you and your husband, because you're taking him with you, and I'm happy for you for that. When you and your husband move abroad, do you know where you want to go? Like, do you have an idea of what your monthly budget is going to be?
No.
You don't
Absolutely.
have to hear that number. Just yes or no, right?
Yes.
And do you have an idea of how much money you're going to have saved?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you have an idea of how many, can you use those numbers to figure out how long the distance is between you and homelessness, pure poverty on the streets of wherever you're going, if you don't make another dime out of your business?
Absolutely. And I have levers to pull if
Pause
it's starting to get low. Like, I've worked that plan. Yes.
for a second. How many months away from being on the street are you?
We're building a 2-year buffer.
Okay.
On top of having a plan.
Okay.
To get to have enough money to get the business started, to do more than just start, that
Okay.
it's really solving the financial hurdles that you face, outside the US. Yeah.
What I want to address is how much of those hurdles are in our brain, right? Versus how much of those hurdles are actually real life. And not to say that things are free when you move abroad, because that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that what happens to a lot of women, a lot of Black women, we think the minute we don't have a paycheck coming in, we are like tiptoeing into just destitute.
Yes.
I have nothing. I'm going to be on the street unless I get a paycheck, right? Even when you can tell us I can live for 2 years without another dime coming in, right? You can do that, and still that you're letting the fear of income, when you have 2 years to build a runway, right? I know you don't want to use up all your savings, but if you did not get any client money for 2 years, you'd still be okay. And you're still letting that fear grow to a size that it doesn't need to, right? Yeah. Maybe you go out there and your business fails. You have 2 years to figure it out.
Well, fear is just going to be there. I don't think you need, so you've done the logistics work, then the fear, just let the fear be there. Let it be there. It's just going to be there. It shrinks. The action is the antidote. Experience, all of that are the antidotes to fear. So let the experience over time, that will help shrink the fear. But in the meantime, just let it be there. Buckle it into the passenger seat, right? Who told us that? She said, put it in the passenger seat. It's not the driver, but take it with you. I'm afraid that we're going to run out of money and they're going to deport us. Okay, that's a fear. But let the logistics and the experiences work to shrink the fear. But you don't have to I don't think you need to solve the fear. I don't think you need to not feel fear. There's no such thing as fearlessness. We're
you have said that.
Yeah. Let the fear come. Let it come with you. Take it with you. Take it with y'all. You're smart people. You can navigate a lot of things. And a lot of the things that you're going to navigate are going to be mostly in your mind, right? There's more bad stuff in your mind than that's going to happen to you in your life. But let the fear come. It's okay. It's okay to be really afraid of things and still do it.
that's what we do in Exodus 7.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that you've worked out the logistics. I'm glad to hear that you've worked things out, right? And figured out your plan. You're far ahead of a lot of people who feel the fear and don't do that part, right? Just let the fear stop them. Now just take it with you. Take it with you all over the world. Take that fear all over drag it, drag it from continent to continent, from joy to joy. Take that fear along.
I needed this today. I needed this today. Thank you all. As always.
I don't know what Stephanie said, but thank you y'all for holding it down while I had a little
Sure.
blip.
The internet, girl, the internet. Yesterday it was me. StreamYard. I think it's StreamYard out to get us, but that's another.
No, that was the power system.
Okay.
One little bloop and your whole computer shuts down.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Dee, I just told her it's okay to be afraid. Take the fear with you. Go over, take it around the world.
Do it anyway, right? Now, I didn't finish what I was going to say.
Okay.
To D, if you told me you had 1 month of savings, I would say, let's get our business in order before we move.
Yeah.
Let's get some income coming in before we move.
Mm-hmm.
You have the benefit of not moving alone, right?
Okay.
You're moving with a human who has a skill that can be used anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can be used under the table anywhere. Because we love to buy a plate. You know we love to buy a plate. Wherever you are going, someone's about to be like, y'all cooking? What y'all cooking? I got some money. Right?
Yes.
Sure.
There are so many ways, there are so many ways that you can make money that you can't see right now because you're blinded by your actual paycheck. Right? And when that goes away, bless it. Let's release it into the universe. We don't need it no more, right? There are going to be so many more opportunities that you're aware of. Neither Stephanie, we move abroad coaching. When I was in my office,
it didn't even exist.
Shoot people every day, right? It was not a thing. Not a thing I would have considered. And now I'm like, this is what I do. So people say things like, you can make money doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can't. I'm very good at it.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, right. So I find the thing you will find the thing you're good at, the thing that people want to pay you for.
Mm-hmm.
And you will
she's doing it. She's doing it. She's doing it. She's just afraid. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have one note of encouragement. If you have ever been in a place of where you did not know where your money was going to come from, those of us who had good jobs and lost them 2008, 2010, this is going to touch that part of you. And we went for a good bit as highly educated, highly skilled people. And don't let that hold you back. Don't let it hold you back. I would rather figure it out there with a $350 rent than my $2,000 over $2,000 mortgage than to try to stay in place and outpace inflation and all of the money grabs and the gotchas that are happening here.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Yep. Center your peace. Center your peace and pack the fear with. Stephanie, you just set me free. Both of you guys set me free this morning. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here.
We'll see you in coaching.
Thank you. Jane Good said 2008 happened to you. Now you can happen to 2024. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. A word. Yes. 2008 happened to me. Thank you so much, Dee. We will see you in the membership. Thank you for being part of our community and such a smiley, happy face all the time.
Absolutely. Bye,
All right.
ladies.
Bye.
Bye. Happy grocery shopping.
Yes. And surprise, surprise, Lynn is back. You thought I was going to ignore you, Lynn. No, I see you. I see you.
No, I know
All
you
right.
have other people to take care of. So my next question is financial. So I'm actually a retired corporate banker, so I didn't deal with the retail side of it. But I'm concerned about I'll do my research about banks in areas that I'm thinking about going, and I'm concerned about the transferring of monies back and forth. I mean, because one thing on my side, we had to be very careful because there were so many laws against receiving funds in and all that. And I'm thinking, and just like the young lady just said before, I'm frozen because it's like, what if I can't transfer funds to my local account in the Caribbean and I need to do something? So I'm thinking, I'm creating
Yes,
scenarios in my mind that hasn't even happened yet.
You are,
So
Lynn.
yeah, I'm playing it out. I'm thinking, but so how did you all handle the financial? Do you still have a U.S. account and then you have a local account and they married each other and everything's okay and you don't have any burps and beeps and things?
great question. It's something that we are actually going to talk about in the membership soon.
Oh, okay.
But because banking is important. I live in Mexico full time. I've lived here for 5 years full time. I do not have a Mexican bank. There are ways my life could be easier if I had a Mexican bank account,
Yeah.
and there are ways my life could be harder if I had a Mexican bank account. And for me, it just wasn't worth proceeding down that path. So I want to walk you through some of the things. So a lot of countries don't work on, as you probably know, the same credit system we do,
Right.
and credit doesn't have the same, isn't weaved into every part of the life as much as it is in the US.
Okay.
So like in Mexico, to get a credit card, if you want a credit card, you're paying somewhere north of like 70% interest. And you're paying taxes on the interest you pay. 16% tax. And so like that is not a benefit I would get of, I see your face, Lynn. Yes. I've seen ads for 85% interest rates on credit cards. No, thank you. I'm gonna stick with what I got, right? So I'm not closing out that relationship in the US because it's far superior. I see people all the time who have Mexican bank accounts say that they were refunded money and the money never made it to the bank. And then it's like 3 or 4 months of like arguing with the bank about where your money is, which maybe you can do in English, right? But if you go to a place and you are not fluent in the language that's generally spoken, can you argue about your money in the language you need to argue about it with? I can't. I'm not about to argue about my money in Spanish. I'm not doing it, right? Also here, there tend to be, because the banking system is just different, most times when I pass by a bank, there's a very long line, like 30 people outside of the bank. Whatever they got going on, but there are 30 people in line at the bank, I don't want that. I'm good. Now the benefits, those are some of the negatives. The benefits for me here is they use a system generally of paying people. Like if I want to buy something at an outdoor market, if I had a local bank, I could just send them money from bank to bank, super easy, no big deal. Right? But you can do that. I can do it by going to a bank and putting money in. I can put money in someone's account by going to the local OXXO, which is like, we have 7-Elevens here. The local 7-Eleven, any corner store, I can drop money in someone's bank account. Oh, bam. Just if I have a number, is fine. So I do lose out on like the phone to phone transfers, but that's about it. The way I get my money is I have a US-based account. I have one of Charles Schwab and one of Fidelity, and I just use their fee-free checking accounts to take out cash wherever I am around the world. And so I don't have money sitting in a local bank account. So another positive to having a local bank account is if the US dollar weakens against the local currency, it would be nice to have some sitting there. But if I got to fight to get it, I don't, right? Like, what's the value of it sitting there? So people use WeTransfer to transfer money between accounts. there are a lot of tools you can use, but I've lived for 5 years without a local bank account, and I don't regret it at all. I pay my landlord through Zoom, XOOM.com. It's a PayPal company. You can pay people around the world with that. But yeah, I saw someone say the simple answer, global paper. The simple answer is just get a Charles Schwab account. That was my simple answer before, but then I realized that Fidelity pays you a lot more interest, or they were last time I checked, which is probably like 4 months ago. They were paying a lot more interest on their fee-free checking accounts than Charles Schwab was. And I put my money where my money grows. So I have both accounts. I just keep more money in the Fidelity account.
So most people who do have a local bank account still don't keep very much money inside that local bank account. You use one of those third parties to transfer some money in when you need it. And then you also want to be very careful about transaction fees. If you're not going to go with a Charles Schwab or Fidelity, if you're going to stick with your bank, one of the greedy banks, if you got Wells Fargo, girl, they're charging you a whole lot every time you go to the ATM and wherever you are around the world. Those international transaction fees are on top of any other fees that they were already going to charge you to get your money. So what you don't want is to leave your money in a greedy US bank. You don't want to leave your money in a bank that's going to charge you those international fees. 3.5% for most banks, just to take the money out of the ATM. But I bank with USAA, which is not a big old bank, and I can get money pretty much anywhere I am in the world. USAA is another bank that doesn't charge those transaction fees. So the networks, like the ATM networks, have not been a problem. If you're with a really small bank, you may find the ATM network thing an issue. But for the most part, taking cash out in Costa Rica, in Mexico, in Grenada, no problem.
No problem.
Now, I've gone to Beijing, and after going to Beijing, I found out that I was going to open up an account at HSBC, and I did. And for years, I had an account at HSBC, and I was just going to let it grow until they came down and said they wanted some astronomical amount of monies to keep the account going. I'm like, well, you're not going to get it from me. So I closed it, and I felt that I was cut off from the international community because I closed my HSBC account, but I forgot about Charles Schwab. I forgot how popular they are. So I think I'll go that route. See, these are things I'm going to put into play before I start making more moves. But thanks for saying that, because I've forgotten about, and Fidelity, I've forgotten about them too. So thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Fidelity, thank you. Yeah.
Sorry.
Fidelity is still paying more than 4%. Sorry, I cut you off twice. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, China is just different. Some countries are just harder. Everything is harder, but it's not like that everywhere, right? And there's so many walls and blocks and restrictions. China is, if you've navigated China, you can navigate any place.
Anywhere. As far as if it's money, a money situation. The Dream Merchant said, what about Santander? If you're moving to a Spanish-speaking country, Santander is probably there. I don't know if their banks in different countries speak to each other. You would have to do that research. I don't know. In most places, they don't, right? But like when I opened my Bank of America, I had a Bank of America account in California. I moved to Virginia in 2006, and I went to Bank of America, choose my ATM card, and it was like, nah, girl. I went inside the bank, and I was like, what's going on? And they were like, oh, you think our West Coast systems talk to our East Coast systems?
Oh, no.
No. And so I had to open up a whole new Bank of America account to it's the same bank. So I can imagine, but even though it's 20 years later, in different countries, their bank, especially if it's using different currency, the banks may not speak to each other. So if you are interested in a bank because it's in the country you're moving to, keep in mind that you may not have that freedom of movement of money because a lot of banking systems don't talk to each other.
That's right. That's right. Good question, Lynn.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us, Lynn.
No problem. I'm learning a lot. Also, would you mind just dropping a link about you said something about the groups that I need to join? There's some group that you all were talking about that you're all members of.
Yes.
So go ahead.
We have the Facebook group, Exodus Summit Facebook group,
which Lynn is a member of.
Yes.
But I'm going to drop the link for anyone who's not.
ExodusSummit.com/community. And then our membership for women who are ready to get regular coaching on their move abroad or on their exodus is ExodusASAP.com.
It is in the description.
Okay, Good.
Sounds good. Thank you, ladies. This is
Thank
really helpful.
You.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah. Friends, if y'all are not a member of Exodus Summit, you should be. I understand how we feel about Facebook. I understand that. It won't always be a Facebook group. There are some days something will happen. Somebody will magically fix the problem for us. But for now, it is a Facebook group, but it's worth it. It's worth being inside of the Exodus Summit Facebook community. And then if you want coaching, if you want to come to weekly group coaching, if you want accountability groups, if you want on-demand courses that you can watch on demand, y'all know what on demand means, then Exodus ASAP is for you. This is not a free membership. This is a paid membership where you're getting coaching on the Peace Out protocol to get your Move Abroad plan together. If you have, if you are ready to set a deadline, figure out where you're going, figure out how you're going to, where is the money coming from? You're ready to figure out what is your healthcare strategy going to be? What is your plan for your people and the pets that you need to take care of? How are you going to get residency? If you're ready to make progress on those things, you're invited to Exodus ASAP, which is our membership.
Yes, which
Exodus
I did not drop the link for because
No,
I'm together. It's in the description. I'm gonna add it. Okay, so I'm working real slow today, y'all.
you're doing a good job. Your hair's cute.
Thank you. I wish I could hold on to that. Y'all, it's been a rough week for me. It's been a rough week. But I'm here with cute hair. Ew.
Yeah. I have the text number. Oh, do you know that? We have a text number. You can text ASAP to 888-434-0074 if you want info.
I have never heard that number before.
Progress.
When I tell you that the best part of having a business partner is not having to know about other stuff. There are things, we were in a meeting this week. I was in a meeting with Amina, who's here right now, who's part of our Exodus ASAP team. And I said, I can meet with you to explain this. And Amina said, who else wants to be there? And I wasn't looking at, I was looking at a different window and I laughed because I just knew what was going on in the window where everybody was. And immediately I heard Stephanie say, I won't be there.
I won't be there.
I won't be there.
Contracts. Contracts. We talking about contracts.
A text number? For people to text my phone? I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that.
That's right.
So, yes, having a business partner, having the right business partner is amazing. And I think you should all do it. However, you can't have mine.
Same. Is anybody else behind the?
No one's behind. Aileen had a great question, and I've told her 3 times.
Maybe she's putting her head wrap on. Let her put her head wrap on. Get your eyebrows on, Aileen.
Aileen. And she said, I said hi. And I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about. I sent you a message.
Maybe she got to get herself ready for the camera.
Yeah, let me see what questions are here that we can talk to live. Thank you, Shonda Fit Vegan, for the super sticker. Oh, thank you. And Miss Anderson Gemini, I was getting to your question. It was already looped, but you gave us some cash to get to it faster. Efficiency. I like that. But I'm going to use the other one because I think you're a little clearer in the other one. All right. Where do you store your important documents before moving abroad? You want to travel for 2025, but you worry about your documents and income. If you want to travel all year long, I would leave them in a place that I consider safe, while understanding that when things aren't in your control, you have to let go and let God, I guess. Right? So I left a lot of my important documents, some with my mom and some in storage. If something happened to my mom's house, like if she set a moving away fire, I wouldn't have those documents anymore, right? And then I can be mad, but I made that choice. So I should be mad at myself, right? Depending on what the documents are, it may make sense to bring them with you. It may make sense to put them in what are those things in the safe deposit box? Thank you. It may make sense to put them somewhere else store with someone, it may be in a fireproof safe at someone's house. There are lots of options, but like anything could happen. The fireproof safe, and it could be in a basement that gets flooded. Right? You have to assume there's some risk, right? With all the things we own, owning something means there's a risk around it, right? Everything we own, there's a risk that it's lost, that it's stolen, that it's destroyed, that it's something. Documents are no different. I am a risk taker, so I was like, Ma, hold this box for me real quick. And the box was fine when I came back.
Cousins are also a very popular, in the chat, cousins are a very popular choice. So find a cousin who's responsible. I've traveled with my birth certificate with me for quite a while because I messed up my residency process thing. I wouldn't recommend that. But also I do know I can go back to Delaware and get a new birth certificate if I need to. So yeah, put it away safely and then relax, breathe, breathe. You can make it as safe as you can. You can make things as safe as you can. But as Adelia always reminds us, safety is an illusion.
Okay, real quick. Boop, 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 boop. Yes, Mia, you can DM me on Instagram if you want to join us live. Diane, I just responded to you and sent you the link to join us.
And Aileen, she's getting herself together.
Did she say that?
Yes.
She said it? Oh, I had to be presentable. All right, Aileen,
I understand that.
It was like an hour ago, girl. She ignoring me.
I do not wake up like this. Listen, I
said I want to. All right, Aileen, the link is in your IG DMs. Is that Kyoka trying to get some coaching without trying to get on camera? Have I told you she is my problem child?
Do you know that people call her your daughter?
She's ew. Not for her, but just for like me having a child.
You do now. Welcome to the family, Kyoka.
I will accept cute young niece.
Okay.
She can be my cute young niece.
Okay. She didn't mean ew. She meant ew as in ew. She don't want to have a daughter.
Not ew you.
We know. Kyoka.
Child. No. Okay, let's see. Everyone saying safe deposit boxes, several copies of birth certificates prior to leaving.
Oh gosh.
Her older sister gets her. Oh, yeah. Kyoka has an older sister we've never heard about. She gets her important documents. Okay. Michelle says since she's moving permanently, she's bringing all her important documents. I'll have to have a small fireproof safe for her apartment. It's the same risk if my apartment was back in the U.S. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
She did she threw her child right out the window. Well,
y'all seen that meme.
Don't call it baby sister. Maybe we meant baby sister, not daughter.
I don't even know I take baby sister.
Oh.
I might have thrown her away when I was a child.
Yes. Let's get to coaching. I get things on the screen.
Just showed up.
Huh?
Guess who just showed up? Aileen. Yay, my buddy.
Good morning, Aileen. How are you?
All right. How are you?
Great. Good to see you.
Ask your question. And I'm find people in. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. My question was for those of us who want to move abroad with an online business. And how can you check the reliability of internet wherever you want to go? Because I know Mexico's pretty good in certain spots, but what if you want to go to one of those out of the way towns? How do you figure out if they have the fiber optic, if it blanks out on you, things like that?
If you're talking about staying in Airbnbs, right? I ask the host. I ask them, and sometimes I'll even be like, "Can you go to speed test if it's during an important work time? Do you mind going to speedtest.net and sending me the screenshot sometimes even nowadays hosts will put that in the one of the pictures. They'll show you what their internet speed is.
Nice.
I know that below 8 Mbps upload or download speed, it's going to be horrible or slow or bad. And below 1 or 2, forget it. You can't even watch a YouTube video, let alone work. So you ask if you're looking for like a general city and you want to test a general city. I use Nomad List.
Okay.
I pay for Nomad List, but I think you can get a free membership. I go to Nomad List and you can find like the city average, but most places have 2 or 3 companies. In San Jose, Costa Rica, Liberty is awful and the orange one is good. So it's hit or miss with hosts unless you ask. So if I show up in an Airbnb, there's a chance that they're using Liberty and it's going to be bad. And so I don't risk it. I ask the question before I book.
Okay.
But yeah, internet nowadays, where do you live, Aileen?
I live in Minnesota. So
Okay.
I'm still stateside. I'm working on getting out of here.
We're working. Yes, we're working on it. Yeah, I'm just asking because in a lot of the US, you don't have fast internet, Atlanta. Okay. So in South Carolina. So you may have much better experiences than you're expecting with internet abroad. A lot of places really invest in fast internet.
Okay.
So yeah.
And a lot of places have cultures where there are places where you can get Wi-Fi easily and freely. So if you're in a place where I find that if I'm in a place where maybe I book an Airbnb that doesn't have good Wi-Fi, if I can't rebook for a little while, there's usually a cafe close by where I'm like, I can download all the stuff I want to watch in the middle of the night. I can do some work, maybe an hour, and get some stuff done, and then go back to the bad Wi-Fi in the Airbnb. I have in Mexico City, we have Wi-Fi throughout the streets. I know people who've come here for the entire weekend and never gotten any kind of cellular service. They're on the public Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Now, your security experts are going to tell you not to do that, but I'm not a security expert. So,
and that's what a VPN is for on your phone. So
I'm only here to talk about the availability.
Right.
Yeah, most places have much more accessible public Wi-Fi than the US, right? If they have cafe cultures, easily accessible public libraries with Wi-Fi, all those things are there, not the Wi-Fi, not like the US.
Okay.
All right.
I've been watching the videos and nobody ever talks about that. And it's like, okay, so how do you figure out between fiber optic and all the other fancy words they throw around? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not that well versed.
I think one thing that this is gonna sound away. Take it however you will. I think one thing you can do when figuring out if the place you're considering moving to is American enough for you is to pick an American brand. And if that brand has a presence in that town, decide that that's good enough for you. Mine is Starbucks. If there's a Starbucks in town, it's not lacking anything I could want. That town is not lacking any. Now, I'm probably not going to go to the Starbucks, but if a town has a Starbucks, it's probably not lacking everything. That's not a rule that's going to work for you everywhere around the world that I have found. But if a town doesn't have a Starbucks, maybe there are some things, maybe there's enough traffic lights. Who knows, right? Maybe it's not like a 100% rule, but it's something that I can kind of use to gauge how Western might this be? Is it going to have the things I'm used to?
Okay.
Y'all don't be out here like Rashida was wrong because I went to a town that didn't have a Starbucks and they also didn't have. I'm saying this is not going to work all the time. It will work some of the time.
Yeah. And then your question about the fiber optic. If they say they have fiber optic, I've never been to a place where they have fiber optic internet where the internet was slow. Fiber optic is fast.
Okay.
So if they specifically say they have fiber optic internet, it's going to be the fastest that they can get, right, in their place, the fastest they can get in that house or in that neighborhood. Yeah. So if it says fiber optic, you're good. If it doesn't say it, then ask some questions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Karma Presh asked about McDonald's. Maybe McDonald's is your brand, right? Pick a brand and say, if that brand, like for you, if that brand is there, they probably got enough stuff. It has not failed me. All I'm saying. Very unofficial rule. Okay, thank you for being here, Aileen.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you for being part of our community.
Nice shirt.
Yes, beautiful shirt. I should have worn mine. Glamazini asks, y'all know anything about Starlink? Do you know anyone that got that living abroad? That is owned by that man, a South African man. And I don't know nothing about nothing he do. I don't want to know. I know people use it here in Mexico.
Yeah. And it was really good on the boat. We had it on the cruise.
That was the boat?
Yeah. It was really, we were in the middle of nowhere and we had great live streamed.
Always.
We
always
live
had great. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what we were using.
Yeah.
Always had great internet.
But there's also HughesNet. HughesNet, there are other satellite internet services. I don't know anybody in Costa Rica who has Starlink, right? But you usually hear of people who are on the move, people in RVs, people on boats. They do use satellite internet.
I ain't giving that man no money, so I don't know. Okay, but thank you for the question. All right. A bunch of you joined all at once. What?
Monica's on the Norwegian Dawn right now. Hi.
Watching now using Starlink. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So we have 3 people join us at once. Pena, Diane, and Kyoka. We're going to do in order. Pena first, but your light looks a little funny, girl. Let's see if we can actually see you. All I see is that light from the sun.
I apologize. It's because I am in a car. So my apologies.
Yeah, just that's just right for a while.
I'm kind of multitasking, so my apologies. But one of my questions is, I guess it's kind of like a loaded question. Mentally, physically, I'm ready to move. But I also know that I have to plan financially. But I am one of those people that feel sometimes it's a good idea to kind of get your feet wet. And one of my goals is to do slow travel, possibly living in a country for anywhere between a month to 6 months, just so that I could get the feel of it. I don't have a job. I left corporate America 20 something years ago. Stephanie's smiling. And then I started doing independent contracting work, which I classify as being almost like in a gang, because you get used to the flexibility and you get spoiled with it. So the plus side is I can do whatever I want now. The con side of it is I can't take this to another country. I have to physically be here to do it. But I am an empty nester. I hold no ties to my belongings whatsoever. Literally, I will pick up with a suitcase and move. The only thing that is holding me back from leaving from the US is finances. So I was looking for suggestions, which I'm figuring maybe house sitting, to start to live in another country, to immerse myself in that culture, in that environment. I know we talk a lot about fear, and I would say the fear of leaving is not there. I could be gone like yesterday. I think the concern is that I haven't ever had a jump for joy of Airbnbs. So just kind of wondering, any suggestions for someone that's like, hey, just start off maybe staying in another country for about 3 months or something like that to kind of I think once you kind of get your feet wet, then that feeling is there, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think so. If you pick a handful of places that you're interested in visiting and figure out how much money you need to be in those places, it's easier to figure out the money. When you don't know how much you would need, then it's harder to figure out the money, right? You don't know how, if you're in your mind, you're going to think it's going to cost me $12,000 a month, and you might find out it's going to cost you $1,200 a month. Easier to figure out $1,200 a month than $12,000. So yeah, figure out the cost of living in some places, and then it's easier to figure out the money. So what are your options? What are the ways that you think you're going to make money right now? If it's not the contract, if it's not the current contracts, what are the ways that you think right now?
Well, I did sign up. Thank goodness I was able to catch Yvette's live with you. So I was actually supposed to take that this past Thursday and Friday, but I had a conflict, so I just pushed it back to next week. And I have started to do research. I might qualify for the RNE program in Mexico. I'm not too sure. Something tells me that I was there before and I was there after. But for sure, last year I was in Mexico about 6 times, but it ended in 2022. So I'm looking at Mexico, even though that was not on my radar previously. I am looking at Albania, Croatia, and I know it's like literally all over the place. Last year I was in Vietnam and loved it. And Thailand, unfortunately, I had an emergency with my daughter and had to rush back to the US. But I am literally open to any place just to start to kind of get my feeling for living abroad. My husband will probably join me in 2 years, but definitely not before that.
Okay.
Yeah. I may be in your situation, having so many family ties here. I might consider moving somewhere closer than Thailand if it's your first time abroad, just to kind of get your feet wet and see if you like it, to see what it's like to live away from your family for a while.
If I may interrupt you for just I have no ties to my family. So they have treated me in a manner that reaffirms every single day I can do what I want to do now. So 17 years ago, we were supposed to move to New Zealand, like literally everything was packed and done. My oldest daughter is 20, I think she just turned 25 or 26. And we literally just had this discussion where she said, Mommy, why did we not move to New Zealand? And I said, life just kind of got in the way. But I said, to be honest with you, it's not life, because if you want to do something, you'll make it happen. And I said, as oddly as this sounds, if I was a single mom, you, your brother and sister, we would have been there. And she said, no, I believe you. So there's no ties to the US for me whatsoever.
Well, then Stephanie just dropped, when you can go back and watch the replay, Stephanie just dropped that we have some cost of living calculators in our Work From Anywhere toolkit. I would use one of those to figure out, like, drop some of your favorite places in there, see what the cost of living is, and then find some places that feel like they would be good. I made a video the other day about some soft landing places if it's your first time living abroad. And if I can find it, I can find things on my own channel. Well, I'm going to drop that link here for you and for anybody else who needs something like that. And yeah, there may be some places that you want to consider simply based on the cost of living.
So let's talk. So then, if your question is finances, how do you afford it? First, you need to find out how much money you need, right? I think first find out how much money you need, and then how are we women in this community living in these places? Remote jobs are usually the first and easiest way, right? If you can do contract work, even though the contract work you do is in person, there's probably some remote work that is available to you. Libria Jones did a workshop with us on actually searching for remote jobs. She did a workshop inside of Exodus Summit 2024's bonus session bonus workshop, where she actually used some AI tools and did some remote work searches. So remote jobs, right? It's usually not getting a job in a new country, but if there is a remote job that is really location agnostic, a job that really doesn't care where you are in the world. Olivia gave us a list of remote first companies inside of that workshop, companies that are remote first. They've prioritized remote work. So that's usually number one. There are certain skill sets where you can, though, get a job in that country. Teachers, if you teach at an international school, people in that country's shortage, on that country's shortage list. So that's another direction that people sometimes take. They know that they are in question. If you're in the healthcare space, telehealth, right? A lot of people in the healthcare and wellness and mental health space don't drop what they're doing because they can do it from anywhere as long as their patient or their client is in the state that they are registered or licensed in, right? So that's an option. And then some ways that women make ends meet, right? Not ways that you make good money, but ways that women make ends meet when they're bopping around the world, tutoring people in English online, something like Cambly. If you're a native English speaker and you're okay with $10 an hour because your apartment in Thailand is $300 a month, right? Tutoring people on Cambly or something like that, right? And then inside of countries, especially France and Spain that I know of, there are people who go there to tutor. What is it that Melissa Bro does? Do you know that?
She's in English. She helps with like English teaching, I think.
Yeah, so there are countries that will take a native speaker even when you're not a teacher and give you a job that is enough for quite a few women in our community to support themselves with, and especially in Spain. So there's 5 different approaches: the remote job, the business, your online business where you're getting clients, which is what Rashida and I do, right? Some sort of online business where you're getting clients for yourself. There is finding a job in that country if you have one of those skill sets that is in demand. And there's online, like, I want to call it, what do they call it when you have like Uber and whatever, but it's online? Online, the work that is
like a Fiverr kind of thing?
pickup work. Yeah. So like tutoring English online, like the Uber of online world is tutoring people in English online. Okay. And then the final option was something like Adelia, thank you, the language assistance program, where the country is recruiting people who are native English speakers to come in and do those things. Mm-hmm. So those are 5 different approaches. Remote jobs usually fastest.
Okay. Well, one good thing is, I'm guessing, I was a TA many years ago, a teacher's assistant, again, when my children were younger, to have that flexibility. The other component, and I know I'll let you move on to someone else, is I currently live in the state of North Carolina. In the state of North Carolina, you have to give 60 days notice of intent. So last year, I left my home. I moved into an apartment just solo. December 31st, I have to make a decision if I will stay or go. In my mind, my gut feeling says, do not re-sign for 13 months because it just keeps me here, keeps me in a position of paying such a enormous amount in rent. Mm-hmm. And I've tossed and turned between, is house sitting best, as I kind of make this decision.
Yeah. So can you go month to month after this deadline?
It's insane. It's additional $785 a month. It's a racket.
Yeah. That is a mafia. Yeah. House sitting is still going to mean that you're going to have to get condense and get rid of everything in a short period of time. Okay, so it doesn't alleviate the still having to deal with the house and all the stuff, but it does mean free accommodation. If you're what is the range that how far away from your town can you be? If you still have,
I can be anywhere just as long as I'm in the state of North Carolina as far as
okay.
continuing to work.
Okay.
I currently have a storage place that we've had that is a donation of a t-shirt over and over again for many years. um, and I've been saying I needed to get rid of that and downsize. I'm also a travel agent, so the least of my concern is if I don't have housing of staying in a hotel. When I mentioned as far as Airbnb, it was just that I I haven't had a horrible experience, but I've never had an experience that was like, wow, this place is beautiful. I would highly recommend and come back. And to be honest with you, I've only used it to reposition my ticket. So like now I'm looking to come to meet you in Vietnam, and I'm trying to reposition my ticket to leave out of the West Coast to fly to Vietnam. So it was only really for one night, but
Well,
I
yeah,
just haven't felt warm and fuzzy
okay,
about
yeah, I was asking you about house sitting because in the state of North Carolina, if you can only be in North Carolina because you have to go to work, house sitting may not be you may not be able to find back to back to back to back house sits like you could if you could reach down to, Georgia. If you could house sit between DC and Georgia, you can house it back to back, or if you could house it in DC. But in North Carolina alone, it may not be a standalone solution, but it may be a piece of the solution.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I truly appreciate the time.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. All right. Before we move on to the next person, I see you. Thank you for your patience, for two of you. Besos. But before we go on, I want to tell you what's coming up this week in the Exodus ASAP membership. We did a coaching session last Thursday. Stephanie and I hosted our first Founders Hour. And in Founders Hour, we talked about the decision to sell your home or rent your home and what factors you should be considering. It was a success.
It was a success.
The woman there said it was a resounding, it was a win. And that is available for the replay. But during that session, because we talked about, we poked investing briefly, some of the women asked for a session for beginning investors. And so, because you guys ask in the membership, you ask, we listen, we make it happen. We have Adelia coming in tomorrow to do a session about beginning investing. Mm-hmm. So if you're there, I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern time, Monday, December 9th. I had to look. Adelia will be hosting a session for beginning investors, what they need to know, what they need to consider, how to get started. So that is going to be an amazing place to be if you want to start investing. If you have investing questions, join us in the membership. If you're already in the membership, make sure you're showing up for that session because we did it because you asked for it. Right. What else is coming up this week, Stephanie?
I'm going to walk you through figuring out the cost of living in a place that you're interested in going to, even if it's not a place that you're sure about. So we talked today about once you know the cost of living in a place, then you can figure out how to afford it. If you don't know what it costs, you don't know how to figure out if you can navigate that, right? So we're going to work through that this week. We're going to work through what is your cost of living. So I can throw out a number. Anybody can throw out a number about what it costs to live in a place, but that's not going to fit you. Because as I've told y'all, I have stayed in a place with no working toilet before, right? So how do you calculate your cost of living for the places that you're interested in? Once you can do it for a place, you can do it over and over again. So that's what we're doing inside of Exodus ASAP on Thursday.
So we have our coaching schedule is right now. First Thursday of the month, Stephanie and I coach together. Second Thursday, Stephanie does the coaching session by herself. She's doing cost of living. Next Thursday, I'm doing a coaching session on how to pick the place, right? Like it can be hard to pick the place, but once you have the numbers, once you have an idea of how to figure out your cost of living, let's transition that into how to pick the place you move to instead of being in the space where you're like, I have 17 places and I can't narrow it down, which is where a lot of people end up. Like, I want to go to everywhere, but everywhere isn't a place, right? So I'm going to help you narrow that down a little bit. And then Thursday after that, we have a guest speaker. We have, send it back to you.
Anne-Marie is coming, the anti-HR lady is coming the end of December to teach a session on getting severance. There are different pathways to severance from an employer. Sometimes that severance is, you broke the law. I'm aware that you broke the law, pay me. But sometimes that severance is, it's time for us to part ways. I've been here for X amount of time. Let's negotiate my exit. Severance is money that so many of us, I feel like I left some severance on the table one time. Money that so many of us leave on the table. And I'm so excited to come and to have Anne-Marie come in and talk about this, because somebody's going to be set free. Somebody's going to get out the door who didn't even know that severance was an option for her.
And that will be the 26th. Replays of that will be available as well if you can't make it live. But also this week, we skipped past this one. This week, our accountability sessions start. So if you've been looking for women to keep you accountable about what to do with your home, what to do with your stuff, how to travel with your children or your pets, or leave your children and take your pets. If the question is, how do I afford it? If the question is, what does it cost? We have accountability groups for those, all of those things and more. And they start this week. So people are going to be in there making friends and getting the support they need. And we have a peer-to-peer session this week. Do you know what it is? Amina, in the comments, since I saw you're just here, what we got going on this week? Who's talking to us? Let me go to our events tab. I can tell you in a second.
Okay.
That's Amina can. Peer-to-peer, I cannot. Amina knows. I don't know. Amina's going to tell us.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of stuff going on in the membership. It's a great time to join.
Yeah.
I think we're hitting our 40th woman. We had 30 women on Friday, and I think we're hitting 40 women today. Yeah. So it's growing, but getting in now, getting these early lessons can really help you get your plan in place. For a reminder, this membership is only for people who want to move abroad for a short term or a long term and have not done it yet. This is not a hee ha ha hangout place.
No.
This is a come in, get your stuff done, and then get out place, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The idea isn't that you're in the membership for a year. The idea is that you're in the membership for like 3 to 6 months, right? Depending on how much work you have to do. But, you in here for 18 months, and I'm going to be like, denied, right?
Yeah.
Get her out. So you can come in and leave, come back, do what you want to do. But we really don't want people in there forever. Life happens, right? You might think that, you're going to move one day, then something changes and you can't move, whatever. Take some time. Yeah. I just canceled a membership this week that I was in for 2 years and did nothing with. Don't do that to yourself. That's not what we want for you. So join us. We got some great stuff coming. If it's a good fit for you now, join us. If not, we'll see you in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ExodusASAP.com is where you go to join Exodus ASAP, or you can text 888-43. You can text ASAP to 888-434-0074. Thank you.
I love not knowing anything about that. I don't even know how it works, where the number goes to. Amina said she thinks the peer-to-peer session is about healthcare this week. So that would be awesome. And if it is, our peer is Dr. Natasha Ramantel.
Okay.
If it's
that might be postponed.
Oh,
Natasha had
yes.
Yeah, that might be postponed.
Okay. But next up, we have our next 2 coaching people and our last 2 coaching people for the day. We got Mystic We've been going through it. All right, Diane.
Ah,
Hi. Let me unmute
Oh,
you.
can you hear me?
Yes.
yes.
Okay,
Hi.
yeah. Okay, hi, ladies.
Hi.
First of all, I want to thank you. I enjoy Exit Summit ASAP. Did I say that right? ASAP. I enjoyed it. Everything is so streamlined. It's just, I love it. So thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, one of our first members is here. Did
Yeah,
you go to the coaching session on Thursday?
I did. I went
Was
to,
it everything?
and probably not the whole thing. I haven't missed much. I was there from the very beginning. Very
Yes.
beginning. Took a lot of notes. I love everything about it. I've shared the information for our family or friends signing up that's reluctant. I just knew that I was going to just sign up. I wasn't going to miss this at all. So it's
Yay.
been very helpful.
What was your takeaway from the coaching session on Thursday about selling or renting your home?
Well, I don't know if you recall, I'm not a homeowner. I was there for moral support. I know a lot of people was on the fence about it, but I've had several houses, and I've never had a problem. You know, I never thought too hard on selling a house. I look at, for me, it was just as simple as selling an apartment for me. So if you have a plan, in place, just do it. You know, I feel like you can always get a house if you want another house, as long as you keep your credit up, things like that. But, you know, so many people have been in a house for years and years, and it's that emotional attachment that holds you back. I think I only had one house that was emotional attachment for me, because I had 3 that I owned solo, and I had one that was joint with my husband. That's the only one that was emotional for me, you know. So, but other than that, I feel like it's just, you know, purging. When you make your mind purge and decide where you're going to go and just do it, just do it, you know. So I never wanted to rent. I mean, I was close to it at one time. I never wanted to be a landlord. Saw my parents, my grandparents, what they went through. I'm just not landlord material. So it was very interesting. I thought a lot of people received a lot of information from what they were saying in the chat. So it was very helpful.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I love that you know yourself. You know you're not a landlord person. Some people are.
Not.
Some people are not.
I'm not. I thought about the nurse. I put out there for people the nursing program, because I know it's a good program, but it's something I knew that I want to do because I'm not a landlord.
Right.
But I think it's a great program because I'm familiar with it. Yeah. And my son is a broker, a real estate broker also. So I mean, I started going to real estate one time, but I just didn't want to do any of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't even work. So I don't want to work at all.
I love that. I love that for you. All right. So what is your question, Diane?
Okay. My first question, I have a lease. My lease expired August 27th. I've had to make changes quite a few times since last year. I was going to move last year, but this year I don't want anything to get in the way of my move. So then I say May 30th, my move date, you know, Panama. I have to pay $4,700 buyout for my lease if I move in May 30th. 30-day move out. But my plan was to live here and live in Panama part-time, both places. Only for one reason only, my health plan. My health plan is attached to my retirement, my lifetime pension. And then I get a reimbursement for Medicare also. I don't want to mess that up, but I'm trying to figure out how to do it. So I said, well, don't look at an apartment here. Just go do the Panama thing and use my son and daughter-in-law address for my health plan. And I still have a UPS box. I have other mail go too. My thing is, should I buy my lease out or just wait it out to August? Because that's about $5,000. I can utilize that in my move. Yeah.
So it's March. If you got out in May,
end of May.
It would
May,
be June, July, and August rent, or is that 2 months or 3 months?
It's I would have June, July, August 27th, so 3 months. Wait a minute. Are you talking about if I move early?
If you move early,
If I move early, May 30th, 3 months prior to my lease expiration.
Okay. And is the buyout fee just the full rental amount?
2 months rent. Okay.
Are you set on moving? Is your move a forever move? Do you think it's a forever move?
Yes, it's a forever move. in my mind, it's a forever move. I hadn't thought about doing anything else. So I have my visa.
Okay.
Prior to visa, everything, because I can always come. In my mind, I looked at it reverse. Like when I would leave here, the U.S. and go visit Panama, or went to Mexico or whatever. I'm just doing a reverse. I'll be living in Panama, and then I can just come back to U.S. and do the same thing, whether I stay with relatives or Airbnb.
So you have places that you would consider staying when you come back to the U.S.
Yeah, I prefer to have a place of my own. I just don't like staying with anyone because I wouldn't be here like 2 weeks or anything like that. So, but my main reason for wanting an apartment, well, a home base, I should say apartment, home base U.S. because of my health insurance. I need a physical address for that without losing it. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so before we even say anything, we have someone who's a rental expert in the chat, Sarah, who says release buyout. There should be an option for you to work with a landlord to get the unit re-rented. Have they talked about that?
I spoke with them.
Yeah.
We had meetings. They do offer that, but if they don't rent it out, I can be here until whenever they rent it out. And I just found out recently, great complex and everything. They have a lot of vacancies.
So,
which I was surprised after all this time, a lot of vacancies. So that's going to be tough. And the unit I'm in, they want a lot of people. A lot of people want this particular unit, but they have a lot of vacancies here. So I don't know how it can go to the end of my lease. It can be any time, but I need an actual date for myself to prepare.
Right.
So we've had a couple meetings.
Okay.
I think this goes back to, do you know what it's going to cost you in Panama? Is it possible that this $4,700 was going to go, like, this is 2 months rent instead of 3?
Right.
So you're actually saving $2,300.
No, well, yeah, you're right, because we have to pay the 47 because 3 months is 3 months. June, July, August, that's $71.97. Then and then if I subtract the 2 months, the $47.98, it is the $23.99.
So 23, you're not saving $2,300.
I'm not saving, not really.
That you're not spending. So $2,300 that you're not spending. And then what is the difference in rent in Panama? Have you looked at a place in Panama, and what is the price difference there?
Well, the relocation special I've been working with, my overall budget period, I don't want to go over, it's from 15 to 2,000 with everything. My out of pocket, but I really don't want to go over 1,500. But I'm paying a lot now. I'm in California, but I'm really trying to, when I move, I want to save, I want to save because I like to travel. So I don't want to spend, but I don't want to just live anywhere either. So what did I do?
No, girl, where did you go?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Wait. Oh my God.
No worries. Let's see if we can fix it from this end. No.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
There you go.
Let me keep my hand off the phone.
If you're saying that you expect your Panama rent to be about $1,000 less, right? And so that's $3,000 that you're quote unquote saving, plus the $2,300 that you're not paying because you're not going to be here. That release buyout to me looks like a decent deal. So I would write down, here's what I'm paying if I stay in the US for these 3 months.
Okay.
Here's what I'm paying if I go to Panama during that time.
Got it.
My math tells me that even if that is worth it, if you are interested in going to Panama in May and not sticking around until the end of the lease.
Right. Okay.
One thing I want you to consider and talk to people in Panama about is when you're going to get cheaper rent. Are you going to get cheaper rent in May, or are you going to get cheaper rent in August? My guess is May would be a time to get cheaper rent, because it's probably, I don't know when the low season is, right?
Well, the high season, I know it goes mainly through April.
Is the high season?
A high season, and then May. Well, May wouldn't be as high as April for some reason, but May, I think August would be lower because you're going into their it's almost close to their winter months again. Yeah. I wasn't concerned about that, but I do get what you're saying.
If it's hundreds of dollars of difference a month and you plan on being in a place for years, I would consider that, I would factor that in too, right? Like, does it make sense to rent in this month? Like in behind season, not only is the rent going to be more expensive, but there are going to be less places available.
Right.
Right.
Okay. I get
So that's, I would talk to someone there and figure out what to do. Someone else mentioned subletting your current apartment.
We can't. They don't allow you to sublet the solid lease. So it's. I mean, believe me. I went through all that. So so I'll look at the. I'll look at what you just said as far as the rent in Panama. I get what you're saying, Rashida. I get you, Stephanie. So I do appreciate that. The buyout might make sense. Delia, I'll see you Monday because I have some questions.
Beginning investing session on Monday in the membership. Yes. Love it.
I feel better. I was actually nervous. I think it's just because it's getting closer.
Yeah.
The move is getting closer. I had to make a lot of adjustments for various reasons the last year. And so I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you for being here, Diane. We'll see you soon. We'll see you on Monday.
Okay. See you Monday. Bye.
Enjoy Panama.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Next up, coming to the stage, we have the problem child.
Your daughter?
The wild child. I don't know her like that. First of all, my daughter would never start a book club and not invite me. First of all,
club. Everybody, you haven't joined
because I found out about it through Tori, not because I found out about it through my flesh and blood. Ain't tell me nothing.
See, she pick and chooses when she wants to claim me, but okay.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Hi, Kyoka.
Hi, how are you guys?
Great. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Staying hydrated.
Okay, good.
Am I drinking some water?
Kyoka's dogs just had their birthday.
Yes, they're 8 years old now, Bernie and Frank.
Yeah.
Why are you here playing on my phone? What you doing?
Okay, so I had a question about nomading versus residency. So I'm a little younger than y'all, right? So the idea of leaving everything and starting a new life in a new country is cute, but it's like, is that really practical for somebody? Not Key Oprah. Y'all need to chill out in the comment section. Oh my God. Please don't embarrass me in front of all these people.
What I'm here for. I'm here to embarrass her. Please.
Relax.
Okay, Kyoka, keep going.
Do you get my question? So like taking the leap, deciding on residency in a new country, and then actually like dropping everything and moving is just so, there's a finality to it that I'm having some trouble with.
Yeah. For the people who don't know your life, can you back up a second? Because you've been abroad for a year or more?
15 months. Yeah.
15 months. Can you give them some background on what life was like at home, like when you were away for 15 months? Did you have your stuff in storage? Did you still have an apartment? What was going on with you?
Yeah, so I own property. I have a car, but I left my car with my sister and I got rid of my apartment. I put things in a very small storage unit. I was paying like, I think like maybe $50, $60 a month for a storage unit.
Okay.
It was very cheap because when I knew I was leaving for a year, I got rid of a lot of stuff. So like I got rid of my couch. I got rid of like the big items. So all I really kept in there were like my books, some clothes, some things I felt like I couldn't part with right then. And I had a little small storage unit and I was abroad for 15 months. We did 10 countries. And I got back to the US in April. And it's been sketchy. I'm ready to go again.
Yeah.
I don't like it here. But to go from I don't like it here, what am I going to do now, has been like, I would say like the last 6 months or so, my edges are really fried, like the stress of it all, because deciding what I want to do with the rest of my life has been.
Oh, no. Let's be less dramatic. I know it's gonna be hard.
I'm serious.
I know. We're gonna reel it back in for a second. If you had picked, so say where you say bouncing around makes sense for you and residency seems so like, what do I do? So permanent.
Like getting married to a country. That's what it feels like.
Cool. All right. So if you had spent that year in Mexico, Albania, Serbia, what would the difference have been? Because you talked about like life at home, like leaving things and it being permanent when you actually get residency. What would the difference have been for your life at home if you had lived in a place with residency for a year instead of bopping around?
Nothing would be different.
But
Like
that's what you started your question with, right?
yes.
Nothing would be different. You would probably still have a storage unit, or you'd put the stuff you couldn't bring with you in a friend's place, and you would move. Or you would move and find a way to take all the stuff with you slowly over time, right?
Yes.
And if you can do a residency application or maybe even a digital nomad visa, that would make you feel less married and maybe just a little engaged, a little pregnant, right? Like maybe a less married, a little less, just slightly pregnant. Slightly pregnant.
A little touch of a baby.
You see why you got that ew before from me. Now you understand why you got that ew when they said she's your daughter. Like if a digital nomad visa, if you did a digital nomad visa instead of bopping around on a tourist visa, what are the implications for your life at home or your life in the place you're going to be?
I'd have to worry about taxes. Whereas I feel like I don't as a nomad because I come in and out of the US when I want.
Okay.
But really nothing. When you put it like that, I think, you know what? I feel like when I think about residency or I think about even getting a visa, it just feels so permanent. It feels so final. And that's the issue. And I like being able to do what I want. Do I have commitment issues? Oh my gosh.
Maybe.
This is how you find out?
What?
You right now?
That's what's happening.
It's not permanent. Nothing. You're not putting you. It's not permanent. You're not a tree. You up and you move when you want to. It is nice to be. It is nice to feel like there is a legal reason for them to let me in this country when I get back. Right. It is nice. It would be nice to get to an airport and feel like it's not up to this agent whether or not they let me in on this tourist visa or whether they give me 7 days or 180 days. Right. It would be nice to have some reassurance. I think we look at residency as reassurance. It doesn't have to be roots if you don't want roots. If you want to be a free bird, be a free bird. There are places where if you get residency, you have to spend a lot of days there. There are places you get residency and they're like, I don't care when we see you again. Come back one day. I think with Costa Rica, it's one day a year, right?
In Mexico, it's
zero. Mexico does not care what you do.
Show up, do your paperwork. We'll see you back here if you want to renew. If you don't, that's fine too. Right?
I think Colombia might be half the year or something like that, right? Different places have different rules. So some places won't make sense for you to get residency. But some places you might actually feel more comfortable showing up to this place when you have residency. One day, it took me almost 9 years before I was like, I want my own place, right? So one day you might want to feel like that. And you may be, you may be really grateful that you got residency before, because then you had permanent or temporary, now you can get into permanent and things can be even more solidified. Not solidified, but like, when you get to the airport, they're going to let you in.
Right. Okay. When I show up in Mexico City airport, it's never a question. It's not how many days, it's not how long you're going to be here. You think they usually ask me is, where are you coming from? And I tell them and they're like, cool, go ahead.
But I feel like, okay, so Stephanie, you said it took you 9 years to decide that you want a residency somewhere.
Yeah, 8. I think it was 8, yeah.
But I feel like for everybody else, they're like, boom, Mexico, getting a residency. And it's like, have you been anywhere else? Oh my gosh. Like,
we don't know. We don't know.
But also, like, they're not married, they can go. They have a lot of people look at it as a backup plan. A lot of people who have no interest in Mexican residency get the residency because for them, for one reason or another, it was not difficult and they have it as a backup plan. So if they ever want to bop around and then decide to put roots down, they're not then scrambling to get the residency to put roots down somewhere. They already have that outside of the US.
That's
But yeah, these are people who have been places. They know the world is big and bright. They can commit. They don't need to touch every country.
And getting residency and moving to a place is not the same as, so we're not buying property and starting, a physical business in a place, right? We're still free to pick up and go whenever you feel like it.
Yes. And if you want to do that, you can do that, but it makes you tied. It gives you the commitment that Kyoka is clearly afraid of.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay, so there's no difference except for your fear of commitment. We've covered that.
I wants to hit it and quit it. Exactly. That's exactly it.
And fortunately, you can do that. No one says you have to have residency.
Okay, I feel better.
Okay, good.
You just wanted permission to be out here in the streets. Permission to be outside.
No, it's just there's been so much talk about getting residency, and I'm like, but
well, okay, so your country, the empire is falling. And anything can happen at any time. And it's really, I think it's important for Black people to have a place to let us in. Okay. This ship is sinking, babe. Okay. Get your life preserver on. I would assume if I left the US, leaving the US, I would assume I'm not coming back to the same place. When I come back, it's going to be unrecognizable. So it's really nice to have a place be like, come here. Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
Why don't you tell the youth who may be here right now who you talk about on your channel?
Oh, so I'm Kyoka, the Awkward Black Nomad. I talk about bopping. I consider myself a nomad, so I like to just go into a country. Maybe I'll take her out to eat. Maybe I'll just see what she's giving. And then I decide if I'm going to stay there for like 1 to 3 months. And then I move on to the next one. Cause we young, we can't stay there that long. Okay. We're not wifing nobody up yet. So I also bring a lot of Black expats on my channel, women who are nomaders or who just travel, who live abroad. I've had some really great interviews. This month, I'm doing Vlogmas, where I talk a lot about my travel planning process. So if you're looking to build your own trip abroad, I have a lot of material on my channel for that. What else is there? I also have the Read and Wonder book club. So if you're a reader girl like Rashida, you can join the book.
Yeah, I did it. Tell her I did it.
Let me get the link. Hold on, y'all.
I just want everybody to see that I'm being bullied right now. Do you see that? Like, does everybody see that I'm
being bullied?
I'm actually
you were going to tell everybody about book club, but you didn't invite me to.
Miss Herman in the chat. So
and I'm bullying you.
Rashida likes to pretend like we're not related, but I have an open invite to go visit her mama. But actually I found out. So, okay, I'm planning to go to Mexico, but in my research, I found out that like Merida is the girls like to sleep out there. I'm an indoor girly. But I heard that Merida is, it's giving retirement. And I'm gonna need something like, I want the girls to go outside. I don't know if I'm gonna come visit you, Miss Herman, but I don't think I'm gonna stay there. I don't think that's my vibe.
Kyoka, she's burning every bridge, antagonizing every demographic of people today on this year.
No, I love the Exodus Summit community because everybody is older than me, so I get a lot of advice. No, That sounds crazy.
Okay, thank you for joining us today, Kyoka. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Let me clean it up. Let me clean it up first.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are like my big sisters, my aunties. And I love that you're embracing yourselves, that you're open and willing to give that advice and to give different perspectives. I appreciate all the work that not only you guys are doing, that everybody in the community is doing, and y'all are the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Amita said, get the hook.
Don't do me like this. Subscribe to the Black Nomad channel, everybody. Hi. Thank you so much.
I honestly don't understand what has happened for the last 10 minutes. I'm very confused. I'm not normally confused on my channel, but I'm very confused about what's happening here.
You gave me the stage.
I did, and I made you come because you were like, get on camera. I was like, yes, girl, get on camera. And then
I reached out to both of you to be on my channel, and you have not scheduled a date. So I just thought we were beefing.
We were just on your channel, Kyoka.
Can you come back?
Yeah. Did you email us?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
She emailed me. I went to schedule, and then, when I look at the calendar, my mind blanks out.
I didn't get it. I didn't get a message.
I'm trying to get like y'all. Okay. Like I'm gonna look at a calendar and just go blind.
Okay. Thank you, Kyoka. On that note, we appreciate you. Everyone watching, give it a thumbs up right now. For Kyoka, give it a thumbs up. Appreciate you.
While we're doing that, in defense of Merida, they do things, okay? They might be, but there's a lot of family-aged people in Merida, and they do things, and they get together, and they have pool parties, and they go walking and stuff. They may not go to do the things that you're into, but they are living their lives in Merida, full lives, and they go on vacation together. They went on a trip somewhere, Danae. I saw Herman Downs there.
I barely know. All I know is the other day she was like, I just got back in at 2 a.m. Girl,
she be outside.
70-37. What are you doing outside at 2 a.m.?
So they do things, Kyoka. They do. There's activities. They do have room for activities.
Okay. Well, this was great. Thank you guys so much.
A pleasure, as always.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Goodbye. All right. Okay. You see how these children be? You see how they be? We don't have too many of them in the Exodus.
But you're welcome. We do. We do.
Welcome.
A few young.
We don't have many of her. We got a lot of the youth. They're not all so mouthy. That one right there.
Yeah.
Woo, okay. So thank you guys for joining us today. If you're still watching, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications, all the things the YouTubers say. I am Rashida Dow, co-founder of Exodus Summit. That is Stephanie Perry, the other co-founder of Exodus Summit and founder of Exodus ASAP. Exodus ASAP is a membership for Black women to actively get you out the door. We are doing the work. We are holding the hands. We are doing the things together in community to get you out the door. You can join at exodusasap.com. Stephanie's going to drop a link right now where you can always also text us. Text ASAP to 888-434-0074. I finally know it. And yeah, we're doing a bunch of coaching. We're going to be coaching every week. This week we have 2 live coaching sessions, one on beginning investing and one on figuring out your cost of living in the places you want to go to. Be there. Replays will be available if you can't be there live. Yeah. We're loving it. Yeah. The community is loving it. We want you to love it too. So yeah. All right. We will see you in the streets.
Okay.
All right. Thank you to all the ladies who joined us. Sorry to anyone who couldn't get up here on time.
Oh, we're done. Okay.
Life happened. What was there?
Oh, I thought somebody, didn't you name 4 people?
No.
Was there somebody else? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't count good. Okay. Thank you.
Girl, you gave me a time limit and we both put up my own time limit.
Yes. Thank you. I got yeah, I do, but I thought I heard one more name. That's all.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
No.
Okay.
So I think that's it.
Yeah.
And
I have something.
oh, don't key Oprah me now, please. I can't take it again.
I have something. So there's 8 things to navigate to move abroad. Where are you going? What does it cost? Where's the money coming from? What do you do about your people and pets? What do you do about your property and all of your stuff? Healthcare. How do you navigate healthcare? Residency. Where? How to do it? Why to do it? And then what about the fear? What about your mindset? What about some healing work? Those are the things that you navigate in order to move abroad. There's some moving parts, and you can make progress on each one of those moving parts, and you'd be surprised how quickly you can get your plan together, your peace out protocol. Those are the 8 steps to a peace out protocol. You'd be surprised how quickly you can get together your own peace out protocol when you focus, when you have some time, when you have some coaching, when you have some support, when you have some accountability. Okay. The women who popped up who are actively planning their move abroad or who have already gone abroad today, these women are just making steps on something that you probably think is impossible. Come get coaching from us and make steps yourself. Make steps on these things. 8 steps, 8 moving parts to navigate. For some are more work. There's more to do than with others. For some of you, you don't care about your stuff. It's going to be easy. For some, you're going to need some coaching on the stuff. For some of you, you don't care about them people. Right? Navigating what I do about my people is not a big deal for you because you don't have anybody to set up on your move before you move, or nobody to bring with you for your move. But each one of those steps is something that you can make progress on. And next time you see our faces together, you could be more organized, right? You could be more planned out. So join us inside of Exodus ASAP if you want to do it, if you want to make this a thing that you do. Keoka has clearly illustrated the fact that a move abroad doesn't have to be a move abroad. We're talking leaving the country. If you want to leave the country and you don't want to put down roots somewhere, you don't want to stake a claim somewhere, you want to be a free bird out in the world, do it. It's your world. If you don't like that idea and you want to stake a claim somewhere, put some roots down somewhere, do that. It's your world. But if you want support, if it seems really overwhelming and daunting and you want support, join us. Let us support you in this.
I saw someone say, if they want to move abroad in 2026 is this spring. If you are not thinking about planning your move till 2026, do you think you could start in the spring? Assuming you mean spring 2025? Yes and no. There's a couple different approaches you can take with that. One is if you start in the spring and you find out that you have everything lined up and you could move in the fall 2025, would you be open to moving in the fall 2025? Like Stephanie said, America is falling, so I would consider it if I could move early. But if you can't, and you know that you can't move, there's absolutely nothing, like there is a mountain and you cannot move the mountain, you cannot go around the mountain. There's nothing you can do until a date that is 2 years in the future. I wouldn't join yet, right? Because you're going to get, let me back that up. You could join and get everything set up to move. So when it's time to move, join and leave the community early when you have everything set up, and then when you're ready to move, just press the button. Or you could wait and do it closer to moving. I will say the sooner you start planning your move, the more likely it is for you to figure a way to move that mountain. Right? It just things, when you get all the things lined up, the things look all lined up and it's like, okay, that mountain is much smaller than I thought it was, right? But what we want to avoid is someone being in the community for 2 years, right? I don't think it's a good use of your resources. And so it's up to you. Do you want to try to move earlier? Do you want to get stuff all aligned so that you're ready for your move 6 months before it happens? Or do you want to wait and do it? The problem with waiting to do it is you don't know how long it's going to take until you start. Like we usually don't know how long it's going to take us. So if you wait, your move may get pushed back because you're not as ready as you thought you were.
I would get started because it would be really nice. I didn't do it like this. It would be really nice to have everything worked out and set up, and now you're just counting down. Instead, on my last days, I was like trying to do this and do that, right? So I would start now, and then when those 8 steps, when you've got progress on each one of those 8 steps, you don't have to come back to coaching with us. Thank you. My membership was worth it. I appreciate you guys, and now I'll keep you posted. I'll tell you. You'll hear from me when I'm out. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Kishi. Thank you for the super whatever. I didn't remember to call these things. I feel like Rashida and Stephanie are doing phenomenal work for Black women who are tired after the election and are ready to move throughout the world differently. Bless y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you being here in community with us. We appreciate all of you being here in community with us. I appreciate all my members. We're going to do a membership live starting right now. Once I hang up with Stephanie, I'm a little late to it, but y'all know where I am. I'm not ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. Kyoka was just.
Kids are a handful.
And y'all wanna act like she came from me? Don't claim her. I do not claim her. Woo. All right. All right. Thank you guys. And we will see you, those of you in the membership, we will see you tomorrow. Those of you who have your all access pass to Exodus Summit, we're doing the schooling bonus session today. If you look tired, this is why. We're doing a schooling bonus session today. We added on an extra coaching session tomorrow with Adelia in the membership about beginning investing. And on Thursday, Stephanie's doing a coaching session on how to get to the real numbers that it's going to cost you to live abroad, not what that one person said in the YouTube video. If that video was a year ago, that video is out of date. Maybe that video is not accurate anymore. I hate to be the one to tell you. I don't even make cost of living videos anymore because I rented my apartment 5 years ago. You're not going to get an apartment for the rent I pay. So what does it matter what I pay? If you move in today, you're not going to get my apartment for what I'm paying for it. So there's no point in me telling you what it cost me in rent. It's out of date. So we're going to tell you how to start.
It's not real. It's not real. It's not worth anything. They made it up. So it changes. $1,000 apartment today is not $1,000 apartment tomorrow.
Okay. She's going to come with more information than money's not real on Thursday. That's my job is to make sure she don't show up talking about money's not real, so it doesn't matter what you pay for things. That's not what she's going to say. It'll be real solid coaching, I promise y'all.
Yeah.
Okay?
We're going to calculate.
Yes. We will see you Thursday. We'll do calculations. If you're coming today, bring paper, bring pencil. If you're coming on Monday, bring paper, bring pencil. If you're coming on Thursday, paper and pencil. We are doing it for you guys. We got a bunch of information this week. It's a heavy week of learning. So we're very grateful for you guys that will be with us. Some of you will be with us in multiple places, and we love you for that. And for those of you that joined the membership while we were talking, welcome. Welcome, friends.
Welcome.
See you over there. Introduce yourselves.
Yeah.
Bye.